Hello, this is episode 13 of the Gojenn podcast. So you know what that means. Episode 13, is this going to be bad luck? I hope not, because I've got lots to show you today. I've got spinning, crochet. I don't think I knit anything, but we've got a giveaway. So stay tuned and you can see if it was you. Okay, so today is April 26th. It is Sunday. Um, it is rainy and cold here in Virginia. Last weekend it was almost 90 degrees. It was 88 or 89 degrees. Today it's a bit in the 40s and it's been drizzling rain off and on. I kept hoping the sun would come out, but no, we've just got a little bit of lighter gray than the darker gray we had earlier. So I'm excited. Really don't know why. I guess I've really been thinking about, okay, don't forget that on Sunday. Don't forget when you do the podcast, you have to remember to do such and such, or don't forget. Okay, I'll try not to. But that voice in my head, I hope it will remind me of everything I have to remember to do. The first thing that I really am thrilled to show you is my first skein of handspun yarn. This is I think it was 2 ounces of pre-dyed Polworth fiber that I got in my Learn to Spin kit. You know, when I on the yarn crawl, and I got my spindle and my Learned to Spin kit. Okay, it probably looks to you like something you would look at in the store and go, oh, I don't think so, lady. Let me tell you a couple things. The little white strings that you see, those are just cotton thread holding this skein together. Okay, so that's one thing we don't have to worry about. Flubs like this, slubs, I think they call them slubs. This right here is where I spun so great that it broke. Okay, my yarn broke. So I've just tied an overhand knot in this, knowing that I'm not going to sell this. So no one's going to be sending me a nasty email saying, hey lady, you sent me yarn with a knot in it. This is going to be me. And so when I do knit or crochet with this yarn, what am I going to do with this yarn? Because I want it to be special, because it's my virgin yarn from virgin sheep or something. I'll undo that or snip it, and I don't know. I'll work with it myself, because when I was scanning this up on my Nitty Noddy that I got on Etsy, I remember the person's first name was Schaefer, and Schaefer is from Herndon, Virginia, which is up in Northern Virginia. So, and it was very inexpensive, but it's PVC Nitty Noddy, and it made me really happy because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. But if you look at that, that's darn good. You know, for first try, hey, I am just beyond proud of it. Let's see. I took it off of the spindle, and I used my ball winder to wind it into a ball that I then put on my Nitty Noddy. I just thought it would be easier to pull off my off of a ball than it would off of the spindle. So I did that, and then once it was on the nitty knotty, I let it sit overnight just to admire how beautiful it was. And then I tied my little strings around it so I won't, have a tangled mess. And then I took it and I dunked it in a basin of pretty warm water. I didn't agitate it. I just gently squished it down into the sink. That's a specialized term, squished. So you have to gently squish to get it all nice and wet. And then I hung it from a clothes hanger, and it was still pretty kinky then. It still, well, it was really kinky when it went in the water. It relaxed a lot during its bath. Yes, you did. So when I hung it on a hanger, a clothes hanger, well, at first I rolled it up in a towel to get out most of the water. Okay, then I hung it on a hanger, and I hung another hanger from that and hung a towel on that hanger to really put the downward pressure on it so that when the twist was set, it would be set without all the kinks. Okay, and then it dried, and I took pictures of it and posted them everywhere there is to post. Instagram mainly. And then I'm learning how to do this, to skein it into a skein so that I know one end goes through the other, but I don't know. Is there some kind of trick I'm missing? If you know the trick I'm missing, let me know. Because I know that then one end goes through the other, and mine just never looks right. But anyway, that is my first. Oh, and I weighed it. And of course, I've been tossing fuzzy bits and knotted bits in the trash. But I weighed it, and it weighs exactly 2 ounces. So I didn't throw away much. Of course, some will be thrown away when I actually knit with it or crochet. And if anybody has any suggestions of what I should do with this, let's put a post in the thread for the podcast. What do you think I should do with this? Should I make I was thinking of a granny square, just to kind of honor my background, and to I'm a better crocheter than I am knitter, and I don't know. I'm not thinking that I would turn it into a blanket or anything like that, but just to have, and maybe I'll make a wall hanging. No, I won't do that, but maybe I'll do something special with it. And a granny square is something you never can go wrong with. You just can't mess up a granny square. So this is my ta-da moment that I had this week. I started to record that night, but it was really late, and I was very tired, and I looked very tired. So that's my main finished object for the week. I know I have told everybody that I'm going to be... All right, hold on just a minute. I will probably have several interruptions today because it is cold and rainy and yucky outside. My husband, who is normally off riding his motorcycle on pretty days, he's stuck inside today. And the dogs have a hard time knowing who they should watch. Should they watch me, or should they watch him? Who's more likely to have food? So we'll see how it goes. I showed you my yarn. I will show you a project not started, but this is a fat squirrel bag. Mary Beth of the Fat Squirrel podcast, Fat Squirrel Speaks. Can you see it? No, because that's nothing on that. It's hard for you to see through. But this is one of Mary Beth's bags. I really like this. This has a little clasp on it, so I can take it off if I want to. Or it can be my zipper pull. And what this is going to be is a pair of socks. I've got my Cyborg's Craft Room, a Sockolate, Twisted Love. I'm pretty sure this came in my Valentine present to me. And so this is going to be my sock bag. I've got several sets of needles in here because I don't know what I'm going to like working with the most. And this, I will probably wait until the 1st of May to actually cast the socks on. And the reason for that is the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup. The month of April has been an off month because we have 3 months that we play, a month off, and then we play for 3 months. So a new game will start on May 1st. And I know I've told y'all how much I enjoy that, but it really does. It pushes me to get things finished and not leave things just hanging, because I want to go ahead, get the points, and move on to the next thing. So I will probably cast on these socks that are living in this wonderful little fat squirrel bag. And I am thrilled I was able to catch this on her last update. Her shop is one, it's Fat Squirrel Fibers. And it's one that you have to watch for the updates. Because if you wait until the next day, there's a sign that says next shop update on such and such, because they're all gone. These are really good quality bags. They are very well made. For this size, you can see it's not that big of a bag, but it sits up nice. When I actually get to working, I can leave my yarn in the bag and fold the top down, and it won't get caught in the zipper. So I just was really pleased with my bag, so that's what I'm showing you that for. Then I wanted to ask your opinion about something. This week while I was watching podcasts, and I didn't really want to work on anything else, I worked on several of the little motifs for the Modern Blanket of Flowers. You know, these are just little bits of mini skeins, and then I have been joining them with a green Malabrigo sock yarn. And I don't know if you remember, but I said I really didn't like how the green is darkening the squares. I'm seriously considering joining them without the border. I don't know. It's easier to join as you go with the border, because I join at 2 spots on each side of the motif. And so this is kind of what it would look like without the joining yarn. What do y'all think? If I remember, and I may not, I will put up a poll in the thread for this week's podcast. Aren't these pretty? I mean, it's very simple. It's just a little 3-row pattern. I do believe it's one of, it's by Julie Yeager. I think she's Julie Annie, A-N-N-Y, on Ravelry. And I think this is a paid pattern. I think the motifs are pretty simple. Her joining is what makes it really special. And I have looked on her project page for this and seen some really phenomenal blankets that people have made, either using the same yarn for all the motifs or something like that, in which that really was pretty. But I would go crazy with the boringness of that. I like color too much. What else I've been doing this week, since I finished spinning my first 2 ounces that came in my Learn to Spin kit, I've been spinning on the hand-dyed BFL. I think last week I called it black face Leicester or brown face. I believe it's blue faced Leicester. This was the name of the sheep. And this is 4 ounces of superwash roving that I want to learn to ply on with this yarn, because my first yarn that I made, I wanted to leave it as a single ply and just work from that. But this I want to learn to ply, which is taking 2 of your yarns. So say I were to take this and just have a ball of yarn of this and another ball of yarn. You know, I just stopped this one and then started a new one. I would ply those together. And when you ply in the opposite direction of your spinning. So if you ply to the window, or if you spin to the window, you ply to the door to put. And what that does is it balances out the kink in the yarn and really helps it. I have noticed from this Blueface Leicester, it has a lot more of a halo than the Polworth will. Verb of choice. Halo. No. But it's really a very pretty color. It's similar. See? They're both like a blue-green. This is a lot more teal and green, where this is very blue with just a little bit of the teal in it. I hate to be such a boring person that I don't know, you know, I pick something and then it just stays. But I do have some pink. I'll work on the pink. And then I got my undyed pound of fleece, and then I got my green and yellow rologs to spin. I didn't work on them. They're so pretty. That's another thing. I kind of am saving them for the 1st of May so that I can turn that spinning in for class projects. I'm excited to be able to use my spinning for class projects because, I mean, some people... Let me back up a little bit. For the Harry Potter House Cup, Knitting and Crochet House Cup, you submit a finished object and then you get a base of 15 points. If you use a lot of yardage, if you're very innovative, if you do something really strange, like make a cozy for an apple, you may get bonus points. I don't worry about getting those bonus points that much. I would rather spend my time working on a big project that will get a lot more points. And then my class projects are going to be easies. And so one of the rules is it has to be started and finished in the month to be a project for Harry Potter. So this I can't turn in for a class. They do have detention for finishing works in progress that were started before, and you get fewer points for that. I highly recommend the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet Cup. If you're at all, I don't know, if you're at all wanting an incentive to do certain things, and as far as meeting the challenge, most of them. Some are really, really specific, like make a hat. But then you are on your own. You could make a preemie hat. You could make a top hat. You know, anything you want to do. A hat for your dog or cat, anything. But the prompts will help you do things like this. There will be something that I can probably turn this in for the color blue. you know, they'll say, craft something that reminds you of the ocean. Well, this kind of reminds me of the ocean waves. But anyway, that's I really want to say that because of the house cup, I learned to knit. Because of the house cup, I have ventured far out of my safety zone. I made a crocheted hooded pullover sweater, and as soon as I stop having hot flashes, I'll wear it again. But right now I can't wear anything too warm because I can't stand it. That's probably TMI. Is that too much information? But anyway, I just, they're imaginary points. You know, there's no real prizes in real life. Nobody's going to send me a crown. Though they should. Everybody needs a crown. But it just encourages you to get outside your comfort zone. I don't know. That kind of thing truly appeals to the kid in me who enjoyed going to school, because that was somewhere I knew I could excel. Does that make sense? So anyway, I like the challenges, and I like to see what other people do for the challenges, because you know, the things are interpreted by the individuals, and so what I may see is saying ocean, well, somebody else may come up and do one of the hitchhiker shawls, because the teeth look like waves, maybe. You know, it's just so much fun, and I have made friends there that I consider true friends, because I've been there when they had babies, and I've been there, you know, when bad things happened, marriages kind of went kaputnik, and things like that. So I'm not saying you have to, of course, and I really hope you know you wouldn't have to if you, even if I did. Oh, I'm not the police. I'm not the crochet police, the knitting police, or the spinning police. None of the above. In my Coco Pelli bag, I've told in an earlier episode who the maker of the bag is, because I'm not going to say, because I'd get it wrong. This is all that's left of my skein of yarn, but this is it doesn't weigh anything. It's so light. This is the Elise shawl. It's a free crochet lace pattern. This is what it looks like. I'm almost done with it. I'm just planning to work until the yarn runs out on one of the ends, because it is a triangle. And then I want to have enough yarn to go across the long flat side, just as a little. It doesn't have to have it, so if it doesn't work out that way, I won't be sad. But I would like to just put maybe a single crochet edging around it. This is a very simple two row repeat pattern, and I love it. I really love it. I'm looking forward to having this done, and I think it's just really, I love it. I love crochet lace. I love crochet lace so much that that's what I'm going to do for my big project in Harry Potter, starting the 1st of May. I don't have anything here to show you because I've ordered my yarn, but it hasn't come in yet. I'm going to make a crocheted lace top, sleeveless, that goes down like below your butt. I don't think that'll get me the rated dirty, because I said butt. Now I've said it twice. Oh no. But anyway, and it's open work, so I'd have to wear a camisole or tank top or something underneath it. But the hubs and I are supposed to go to Mexico on a cruise for our anniversary this November. So that is my cruise top I'm making. So I'm excited about it. But that doesn't, I'll show you, I'm sure you're going to see that for quite a while because it's a full garment. It has tapered, symmetrical, but not straight around at the bottom. Does that make sense? It goes up in the front and down or more in the back. No, I'm sorry. I'm not that redneck. I'm pretty redneck, but not that bad. Okay. So that is the last of my works in progress. This and my little motifs and my spinning. Okay. So I don't have any knitting in whips except for my sweater. And that's didn't get any love this week. I don't know when it will. It's shoo. Why did you make me think of that? Now I feel guilty. That is the extent of my whips. Drum roll, please. Oh, I don't have it. I should play it like I did for the last thing. Darn. I apologize. I did the random number generator for the drawing for this lovely Euro Baby Cuddly Cotton yarn. This is the same yarn that I used to make my Cattywampus hat. And we did have, I think, 13 total entries. And the first, posts in that thread. The first one was mine, and I don't need to win it. So I did the random number generator between 2 and 13. And it came out number 8. There, can you see that? It came out number 8. Well, number 8 happens to be... And next week, well, no, I'm just kidding. That's like on the lottery. They go to commercial right before the important stuff. Ha! Number 8 is Donna Wanna 99. Yay! Her suggestion to get more viewers was that they'll come. If you film it, they will come. So I appreciate that. She said she was excited to find the podcast. I'm excited she found the podcast. I get an email that's generated every time somebody subscribes to the YouTube or iTunes threads or whatever. And that really, it makes me very happy. I get one, I go, ooh! And then if I get another email the same day, it's like, 2 people in one day, yay! And somebody loves me. They really love me. So Donna Wanna 99. I will be, I'll probably try to, I'm going to try to remember to put up a poll. What do you think I should do with my motifs? Should I border them or not border them? 1. I'm going to ask you what you think I should do with my first handspun skein. Ideas? And I'm going to send a message to Donna Wanna and get your mailing information so that I can send you this skein of yarn. And I hope you'll be really happy, and I hope you'll take a picture of whatever you decide to make from it. I know I would love to see that. In fact, I would love to see pictures of everything. I like to read all the posts, but I love looking at pictures, finished objects, things in progress, things like that. I love to look at the pictures, so please think of taking a picture and just post it in the thread for the podcast. I would love to see it. I love to see people's photos of what yarn did you choose. I may want to do that project, but I would have never chosen that yarn. So I really enjoy it for that. Louise did want me to show that I made her a scarf out of some of the snippings from my first handspun, and she got a scarf because sometimes it's cold. And Louise pretty. So I was talking to my grandson and asking him what he thought I could include on the podcast that would make it interesting to you. Something like, you know, what he, and I said, what do you think I could add? Because I have knitting and crochet and spinning, finished objects, works in progress. What else is your suggestion, grandson dear, who has been my staunch supporter? He just, why not, Grammy? Do it. And he said, do you do any top 5? And I said, like top 5. And he watches the videos he watches. I don't understand. He doesn't watch the knitting videos because they're obviously the best. But a lot of his gaming videos on YouTube have top 5 lists. You know, they're top 5 games that you shoot zombies in, such like that. So I figured today I would give that a shot. And since I am a podcaster, I thought I would share my top 5 podcasts. Then when I went to remember, excuse me, to remember the list, I realized there's 6. I can't leave anyone out because these are the 6 podcasts that I watch without fail because I've subscribed to them on Yoohoo. Not Yoohoo. Sorry. Not Yoohoo. My chocolate milk tells me what to watch on YouTube. And so their next episodes automatically come up in my YouTube feed, and I get an email when a new episode is uploaded. So that's a benefit of subscribing if you don't already subscribe. So here's my list of top 5 video knitting and crochet podcasts. Ta-da! The first one I would have to say is Minerva Turkey Knits podcast. She is the reason that I really got the idea that I could do this. She was very nervous in the beginning, and she just started last fall. So she's kind of new too. She has lovely purple hair. She's in Florida, and she has the best stash enhancements. Wow, it's just fun to watch. I really like her attitude. She reminds me that there's always something to learn. She shows things that she makes, of course, and I enjoy watching it and seeing her podcast, her sense of humor, and I like her podcast. And the reason that she gave me the idea that I could do this is because I saw her struggling in the beginning. And I mean, it wasn't like it was bad, but you could just tell she was a little nervous. But then she's great. She's great. She's funny. And she goes to some of the big fiber shows. She went to Rhinebeck last year. She's going to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I think next weekend. So it's just really interesting, and she apparently knows a lot of the indie dyers and things like that. So I really enjoy Minerva Turkey knits. And these are not in order of my favorites at all, because one week I'll like this one better than that one. You know what because this will be funnier or something. Excuse me. Another podcast that I love is the Fat Squirrel Speaks, and I showed you my Fat Squirrel fiber bag. Amy Beth does a podcast, and she is hilarious. She always has some kind of silly shenanigans going on. She's, but she makes gorgeous, gorgeous knit things. Way out of my league as far as my experience level. There's just no way. But and she has a daughter and a husband, and so it's fun to listen to her tell about what crazy shenanigans go on, and to see the things she's made. And I really enjoy it. Always. Every week I always enjoy Amy Beth. And then, of course, she has her bags, which I really like. And she announces on the podcast, shop update will be so-and-so. So I set an alarm on my clock or whatever so I can try to make it. Another podcast that I really enjoy is the Suburban Stitcher. She is Diane, and I think she lives somewhere in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Texas area. She also makes bags, but she also has a real life job. She has 2 sons and a husband, and she's interesting for me to listen to because she always comes at things from a different way of looking at it than I would. I am, for instance, we do have a similar color sense because she likes bright colors and rainbows, rainbow colors, yarns, and things like that. But she's fine having 18 or 19 works in progress going. That would break something in here. Because I have enough trouble keeping up with, 3 this week. And so that's just so not me. But I really enjoy the way she does things. And it works for her, which is the most important thing. You have to figure out what works for you. And I enjoyed the way she talks to us on her podcast, and she is good friends with Stacy of Mustache Yarn, who is just Stacy has her own podcast, Mustache Yarn, I think. And they're in Texas, and it's interesting to see the 2 of them together. But I really enjoy the Suburban Stitcher podcast. Another one that I like are the Knit Girls, Girlls, and that's Leslie and Laura. They're just a hoot. They used to live near each other, and so they would get together and podcast on the sofa. And then Leslie moved away to New Jersey. So now they do the podcast via Skype, which I love because it shows the bond that the 2 friends have, and a little, couple 100 miles isn't going to stop them. And they are both outstanding knitters. Their projects are just way over my head. Socks and lace knitting shawls and beautiful, beautiful things. And Leslie quilts as well. They spin. So I find them a lot of fun, and they're often hilarious. Often very hilarious. And that's the Knit Girls, GIRLLLS. Another podcast I really enjoy is Stockinette Zombies. I just realized my list has got 7. So my top 5/7 podcasts. Stockinette Zombies are very, very funny too. They are everybody's more experienced than me at knitting, since I just learned a year or so ago, and I'm not at a point where I really want to be challenged too much with the knitting. I want to really get down the basics. The sweater, that is right now resting. That was as much of a challenge as I was prepared to take. But they do beautiful things. There's socks. They make socks. It's like they're a factory churning them out. I can't believe how fast they make socks. How? But they are in Minnesota, and they run the ZK retreat. And the Knit Girls have a retreat as well. And I can't think of the name of it. It's in Tennessee. And I did not make it in this year. I apologize. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But the Stockinette Zombies are a lot of fun. They're both moms, wives, mothers, with real life jobs. And I just love the chemistry between the two of them, like the chemistry between the Knit Girls. If you don't see the friendship, the very deep friendship and love between the two of them, I don't enjoy the podcast as much, from some others that I've watched. But these girls I really, really enjoy. And last but by far not least, one of my favorite podcasts is the Weasley Sisters. And they are 2 sisters, pretty cool, huh? Who live, one's in Pittsburgh and one's in Wisconsin? I'm not positive. But they are Star Knits and Naturally Knitty. I have a Star Knits bag. The stitch marker on my shawl right now is a Star Knits stitch marker. The Rolags that look like the sea slugs, they're made by Naturally Knitty. So they're 2 very talented sisters, and they're both in the Harry Potter House Cup. So I like to watch them and see what their take on the challenges would be, to see if I've missed something in my interpretation of it or whatever. And I remember several months ago watching, and they were turning in spinning for several classes. And I thought, boy, if I ever learn to spin, I'm going to do that. Not knowing that I was going to learn to spin, so I'm going to do that. And I'm spinning some of her Rologs. I am thrilled about that. I'm just feeling so special. I really enjoy their podcast. And they do theirs by Skype as well, since they're so far away. So that's my top 6 or 7, top 5 podcasts. I see no need to limit myself to 5. But I don't watch that much TV. We don't have cable, so I don't get any current TV. I go back and watch things on Hulu and Netflix on my iPad. That's how I watch TV. So to me, to watch their podcast of their week's podcast, whether it's an hour or 45 minutes or whatever like that, it's the same as watching an episode of TV. but there's no commercials. And it's about a subject I'm interested in. Um, I got really mad at cable TV because they kept going up on the price, and they were giving me things I didn't want to see. I, I, I didn't I didn't want to watch the Golf Channel. I didn't want to watch the Catholic Channel. Nothing against the Golf Channel or the Catholic Channel. I think they're great for the people who would really benefit from them. But they should be able to choose those channels, and I should be able to choose, I don't know what, HBO? But there's very, very little of actual TV that I was watching, and when my husband and I realized that we weren't at all getting our money out of the cable, we just stopped it. And we now have Hulu and Netflix, just streaming Netflix. So I don't get the CDs, which is a long way to say I watch podcasts like most people watch commercial TV. I sit in this chair, which is a lazy boy recliner. The foot thing comes up so I can elevate my feet. After a long day of sitting at a desk, I can put my feet up. That's good, right? And I set my iPad up and I knit or crochet away. Everything from right here. I have Louise to talk to and my dogs. I'm perfectly satisfied with that situation. I think that is everything. I've gotten quite addicted to making the little slideshows at the end of the show. And I have no yarn, crawl, fiber festival, or anything like that to show you pictures of. But I'm just going to put some general pictures together. Still photos of things I've made. Just because I can't bear the thought of no slideshow at the end. I hope you've all had a good week. Congratulations, Donna Wana 99. I'll be sending you some free yarn. And I hope you have a great week coming up. And filled with laughter and love. Because if you have those two things, everything else takes care of itself. You know? It does. So have some laughter. Have as much love as you can. And have a great week. We'll see you next week. Now we'll have a surprise. All right, don't forget to go to the thread and tell me what you think I should do with my handspun, and to vote on whether I should border or not border my little flower motifs. Okay, and let me know if you have any other podcast suggestions that maybe I didn't mention. I have tried out a lot of podcasts that just weren't my cup of tea. Nothing wrong with them. There's so many now, so many podcasts. So that's why I'm so thankful you're watching me. Oh, I forgot Dark Matter Knits. Oh, am I up to 8? That's bad. Elizabeth Green Musselman from Dark Matter Knits. I love the way she thinks. I love the way she thinks. She's a very experienced knitter, a designer. She gives tips. She talks about behind-the-scenes designs, things that are, like I'm in kindergarten and she's in graduate school of knitting. And I'm just fascinated. Always fascinated. I love the way she thinks. Wow. See? And as soon as I hit stop recording, somebody else will come to my mind. I don't think so. I think that's everybody that I truly love to watch. And if I sit down to crochet for an hour, I can watch one and maybe part of another one. And if I sit down another night, I can watch another one. So I really enjoy doing that. I do. I do. So again, have a week filled with laughter and love. Bye.